and Jason, we go way back since the very beginning of my men's physique career. Jason was one of the original men's physique IFBB pros. I like to call it the first generation of athletes, that first class of pros that were inducted into the IFBB Pro League. He was amongst the first, I think probably the first 10. And I watched him as an amateur compete with the pros and a lot of the guys I looked up to a lot, and him being one of them. I remember in my last amateur show in LA, Jason was competing as a pro in that same show, and that's where I saw him for the first time in person. And he was one of the elite, so it was really cool to have turned pro and to have go against some of the best in my pro debut, where I competed against Jason for the very first time in New Orleans. And that was the first time me and him actually got to meet more on a personal level. And he was one of the top guys going into that show, and it was one of those competitions where I was a new guy coming in, and Jason being around for a while, that he was kind of like the main guy going into that show. So I had my eye out for him, and that's kind of where our competition career started out. And we weren't really friends at the beginning. It was more just competitors, and had mutual respect for each other. And we competed in 2013 Olympia, where I took second place, and I believe Jason took fifth place. So we're both top 5 at the first ever men's physique Olympia. And still we weren't really friends, more competitors around that time. And we just battled all year long, got both our qualifications again for Olympia in 2014, where I won my first title. And that's kind of where Jason and I became friends. And ever since then, it's pretty much been me and him. As far as my friends within the IFBB Pro League, I don't have too many of them. There's not many two people you can trust that are really out there for your best interests. And Jay is somebody that has excelled within the fitness industry. We got a lot of years ahead of us, and whether we're on stage, whether we're in fitness,